It has got to be incredibly difficult to be the volleyball star formerly known as Blaire Fleming, who friends and family are now referring to as Blaire. Ooh, Blaire. This is the senior season for Blaire Fleming, though I do believe Blaire is qualified to return next season. Well, Casey, is it because Braden changed their name to Blaire? I mean, who knows at this point? Maybe the NCAA is allowing college athletes to redshirt for gender transitions. Either way, the collegiate volleyball career of Blaire Fleming, it is running on borrowed time. There's only so many games that you get to experience as a college athlete. For the overwhelming majority of college players, their senior season, it is the last time they will compete in organized sports. Once the season's over, they graduate and become doctors and lawyers, or they graduate from woke U, maybe they become pretend doctors like pretend Dr. Jill Biden. I'm sure most of them take it for granted their first couple of years, but their senior season, during their senior year, I would imagine most college athletes, they cherish every game, every moment. Once the season's over, it is time to enter the real world. If you're graduating from San Jose State, that means you are entering a real third world country, because life in the People's Republic of California, it has gotten so bad that the serfs, they are surfing to the People's Republic of Mexico. Now, unfortunately for Blaire Fleming, it is becoming harder and harder to cherish those final moments. It's becoming more and more difficult to enjoy the final days of their illustrious collegiate volleyball career, because Blaire Fleming is facing the harsh reality that women don't want to compete against biological men. And I wonder if incidents like this have anything to do with their decision. Watch for yourself. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go ahead and get to the sponsor for today's video, a legendary artist who captures the classic moments of college sports. Although I doubt he will be capturing legendary moments featuring Blaire Fleming, because there is nothing legendary about biological men spiking women in the face with a volleyball. My good friends at New Life Art. I know a lot of you guys in the audience are big fans of college football. Now, me personally, I have always preferred the NFL, but one thing I can't deny about college football is the deep tradition that it has, the memories, especially down here in the South. I can still remember where I was when Chris Davis returned Alabama's missed field goal attempt for over 100 yards to win the Iron Bowl for Auburn in 2013. And that is exactly what New Life Art does. They capture the classic memories of college football. New Life Art offers oil paintings from legendary painter Daniel Moore. Here's an example right here. This is Bryce Young in the SEC championship game a week or so before he won the Heisman Trophy. Who knows? This painting could be worth a shitload of money one day, because this is likely the last trophy Bryce Young will ever win, since he's on his way out of the NFL. If you're a fan of Ohio State, you can hang on to their 2013 national title with this picture of Urban Meyer and Zeke Elliott. Or you can remember Clemson's 2017 national championship with this painting of Deshaun Watson leaping into the end zone. New Life Art also offers calendars, coffee mugs that feature some of the classic games and memories from college football. So click the link in the description below. Grab your first piece of classic memorabilia from New Life Art today. This afternoon, there was supposed to be a volleyball game between the Fighting Flemings from San Jose State and the Nevada, whatever the hell their mascot is. Wouldn't surprise me if they were the Nevada Kneelers, since, Nevada is the proud alma mater of the ultimate kneeler, Colleen Kaepernick. But this afternoon, dozens of family members, they were excited to watch their kids play volleyball. Hundreds of frat boys were also excited because the game, it was moved from Reno, Nevada to San Jose State. The frat boys, they were thinking the game was moved to the beach so the girls could play volleyball in their bikinis. Now, of course, they would have been immediately disappointed when they got there and realized they traveled hundreds of miles to see a former man in a tuck-friendly bathing suit. All kidding aside, though, both schools, they claim that the game was moved from Nevada to San Jose State in the best interest of our student athletes. Translation: they were worried students from Nevada would be pissed off with Blaire Fleming. Going into this low-profile matchup, there was a lot of controversy between the administration at Nevada, also known as the adults, and the young women on the volleyball team, also known as the kids. Now, the adults in Nevada, they wanted this game to continue as scheduled. They couldn't understand why you would cancel a volleyball game seemingly for no reason. But the kids, the young women, they didn't want to play. They couldn't understand why the adults would put them in a potentially dangerous situation. They couldn't understand why the adults would want their young women competing against a biological male. Now, in some cases, maybe you could justify this abhorrent behavior from adults by claiming that this was a business decision. They were doing it for the money. But let's just be real here. Neither one of these schools are making a Colombian peso by selling tickets to volleyball games. If I had to guess, volleyball probably cost both programs hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. Which means the only reason that Nevada officials refused to cancel this game is because they were afraid to do the right thing. But that's okay. That's okay. You see, it's impossible to have a game without players. It's impossible for Blaire Fleming to play volleyball without an opponent. Since the game was moved to San Jose State, for safety reasons, Nevada, they were responsible for providing transportation for their players. Now, 2 days ago, Thursday night, the young women from Nevada, they traveled to Fresno State to play the young women on their team. Now, according to Google, Fresno is about 3 hours away from San Jose. The adults from Nevada, they decided to borrow 2 buses from the WNBA dump to get the players from Fresno to San Jose. There was just one tiny problem. The young women from Nevada who would actually have to compete against Blaire Fleming, the young women from Nevada who could potentially have their nose meet their ears from a vicious Fleming spike, the young women from Nevada, they refused to get on the bus. Now, if the mainstream media actually decided to cover this story, I'm sure they would call them cowards. I can tell you with 100% certainty the media, they would label the young women from Nevada as transphobic. But for some reason, the mainstream media, they are still refusing to cover this story with Blaire Fleming. I wonder why. I believe this is the 5th team in the last 2 months to cancel their game against the Fighting Flemings. The Fighting Flemings, they've got 11 wins this season. 5 of those wins have come from forfeited games. And yet, for some reason, the mainstream media, they can't seem to find the interest to cover this story. Where is Nancy Armour at USA Today? Where is the Star Trek virgin Mike Freeman? Where is Elle Duncan, Malika Andrews from the worldwide leader in woke ESPN? Where are all these woke media personalities who claim to be fighting for girl power? The woke media claims to be all about feminism. But when it comes to defending the rights of women, they are nowhere to be found. Strange. Instead of there being a volleyball game this afternoon in Reno, Nevada, there's going to be a conference instead. Riley Gaines, she organized a conference designed to defend women's sports. There was so much interest generated in the span of just a few days. Riley Gaines, she had to book a bigger venue to hold all the people who were attending. Now, unlike the WNBA dump, Riley Gaines, she seems to have a different problem. In the dump, especially if Caitlin Clark's not playing, they have to move their games from civic centers to high school gyms. Riley Gaines, she had to move her event from the gym to the convention center. Credit should be given to all of these young women for having the courage to take a stand. They should be given credit for refusing to listen to these so-called adults. At 19, 20, 21 years old, it takes a lot of courage to do something like this. Hell, it takes a lot of courage to take a stand at any age. Like I told you guys 3 years ago when Leah Thomas and the gas-powered propeller dove into the ladies' pool for the first time. If women wanted to stop biological men from invading their sports, they had to be the ones to fight back themselves. This was a fight that only women could win. That doesn't mean that men shouldn't be supporting them, but if they wanted to prevent this from happening, they had to stop it themselves. Now, for the longest time, that was not the case. I remember when Riley Gaines spoke out against Leah Thomas 2 or 3 years ago, she was the only one. Now, she was given plenty of support privately. There were a handful of young women who spoke against Leah Thomas under the condition of anonymity, but obviously that did not work. What these young women are doing right now, this is the answer. It's working, which is probably why the mainstream media is refusing to cover the story. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens next week. Next Thursday, the Fighting Flemings, they are scheduled to play Air Force. Will the women in the military refuse to compete against Blaire Fleming? You tell me. Also, is this the answer? Is young women refusing to compete? Is that the best way to fight this problem? Or do you think forfeiting games and handing wins to Blaire Fleming isn't the best way to handle it? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys tomorrow.